Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Johnson, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't need these on. So we had an opportunity to speak earlier this week, and I expressed, my deep discomfort with this choice in front of me today. And what I struggle with is that if we vote against the budget direction, it implies that we're voting for an increase in taxes. I mean, this is one of the sexiest days in City Council, and this will be a meal for the media. I need to express that if I vote against the budget direction, I am actually not voting to increase taxes. I refuse to imagine that equivalency. What I needed to see and what I think is appropriate is to understand the implications for the budget direction decision in front of us, and whether we were able to have a budget direction that said up to a certain percent or a degree of flexibility that would allow us to have a different kind of conversation. I think that could have been satisfactory. I came from an organization who experienced a rent freeze over COVID, right? So we actually did have a freeze in our revenue. And we at the leadership table had to make some very difficult decisions. Our projected revenues changed for 2 budget cycles, and we had to make some real decisions. Now, the budget was a fraction of what this budget is. And so the immediate pressures might have been different, but I think philosophically, the question in front of us is the same. I am in a ward that is very close to downtown, but is a suburban ward. It has many neighborhoods that were built in the 50s and the 60s. I have the Pinecrest Recreation Complex, which is a beautiful facility and could be so much more for many more families across the west end of Ottawa. We could be positioned to support some of the major growth in Barrhaven, in Canada, and in Stittsville if we received investments that could support it. But right now, our roads are seeing an incredible amount of pressure from these growing communities. And I want to know that we are going to be able to make the investments in our infrastructure to continue to support growth as an outer urban ward. We will feel this. And so for these reasons, because I cannot sort of thread the needle on the transparency aspect, I will be voting against budget directions today. And, it really upsets me because, as I said, cereal is $8.99, and now I'm suggesting to someone that these other ways are going to be okay. And that will be something I'll have to defend as the elected official. But I think that we are in a position to know what history has shown when we have these types of restrictions and we get what we pay for, and deferring decisions to later on, I don't think does anyone any favors. And so we are here to make difficult decisions, and you can cut the arguments both ways. And I think on this decision, I will be imagining that I'd like to make some more difficult decisions today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Councillor Menard.